What's up everyone, welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. Today's project, how to change your rear brake pads on your daily. This is for vehicles that has rear disc brakes. So I've already jacked up the vehicle on the back. This is a quick project. This is a Honda Stream RSZ, but this is common. This procedure is common pretty much through all the cars with single spot calipers. So let's get to this. So these are 19mm bolts, nuts. I've got my power tools. Makes my life easier. Cut the nuts off. So now to take the wheel off. Sometimes this won't come because it gets seized. So in those situations, give it a good kick and it should fall off. And make sure your parking brake's not on when you're doing this. So this is your brake caliper. There's two bolts on the back. Talking about this one, this bolt here and this bolt. Most of these rear brakes you have to take both these bolts out to take the caliper off, and when you lift the caliper off you'll be able to take the brake pads out. Most of the time these are 14mm or 12mm bolts. Yep, these are 14mm. I'm gonna crack this open. I'm giving a good impact on it, so I'm not pushing on it, and then it's not gonna end up banging my hand on somewhere else. Once it's cracked open, it should be easy enough to turn them by hands, or you can use a ratchet, but I find turning them by your hands easier. Those are the two bolts. Now it's pretty much, see, you can see it's moving already. Just wriggle it out of the place, and there's your brake pads. Push your brake pads out of the place, and that's how you take your brake pads off. Now this is your wear indicator. Most of the time these are towards the inside of the caliper, but in some cases you find them outside as well, but 90% of the time they will be inside. So when you're putting your new pads on, make sure your wear indicator goes to the inside. How this acts as is, when this wears off, this gets pushed against the caliper and it makes a screeching noise to let you know that your brake pads are worn off. Before you put your new pads in, place your caliper like this, take this rubber cap off, and this is your bleed nipple. These are either 10mm or 8mm, and I would say this is a 10mm. Nope, it's a 8mm. So you need to crack it open. Before you crack it open, you need to some kind of way to catch the brake fluid. So I'm gonna, it's got a magnetic holder, so I'm gonna put that over there, put this on the nipple, and then crack it open. There you go. You can do it before you take the pads off, but once it's cracked open, take your spanner out and turn it out enough, and you need a brake caliper piston or pushback tool. This is the one I have. So it goes in like that. This needs to go down more. Yep, even more. So basically you need to push the piston in your caliper back so that you can get your new pads in. Just gonna get this all the way down. So this top part goes inside your piston of the caliper, and the flat head stays out. and you just turn it to push the piston in. Easy as that. And if your piston is not getting pushed in, I would say it's seized in, because once that bleed nipple is on loosened, there's no pressure in the system that would be holding it back, that wouldn't making it push in. So in that case, you will need to take the whole caliper off, strip it down and clean the caliper so that there's no debris or anything that's making it stuck. And see, that's how the piston gets pushed all the way back in. Before you put this on, turn your bleed nipple in and tighten it so that there's no air is getting in. Take that hose off, because if the hose is getting twisted, it will end up turning your bleed nipple out. So don't go too tight on this, because these are not very strong ones. So just give it tight, make it tight enough so that there's no air or anything leaking in through. Now I've got my new brake pads here. I've inspected them against it. They're the right ones. Always make sure, because the shops can give you the wrong one. Here, simple mistakes, right? So that's your new wear indicator. So I'm gonna place this like that. There's metal clips in here. Those acting as sort of springs to keep the pad pushed into its place. So make sure you get it in properly in between those clips. And that's your new brake pads in. Push this back into place. These are sort of adjusting pins, so you'll have to push them in with your hand to put the caliper in. If you can't push them in with your hand, that means again those are seized as well. So you'll need to take them out and clean them, put some grease on it to make sure it's not seized. And if these are seized, I like putting some grease on it so that it won't be seized in the next time. But since these weren't seized and these are moving by themselves pretty easy and pretty good, I'm not gonna put any grease, but I would say it's good practice to put some grease, which I'm not following. Now once the caliper is in its place, tighten the nipple a bit more, put your rubber cap on it, that's easy enough to tighten by hand. I'm using the power bar to give it make it a bit more tight than what I can get it on my ratchet. I don't like using power on my ratchets because ratchets can break easy and I don't want to break my tools. So that's how you put your new brake pads on. Always make sure this doesn't have any grooves. Like, run your finger through it. If there's any grooves, you should be able to feel it. If there's any grooves, you should replace this rotor as well. But there weren't any when I checked it last. when you're putting your wheel in, don't adjust your parking brake just yet, because it was adjusted to the worn-off brake pads, and these are new ones. And once you let the brakes adjust itself, it might be right, and if it's not, then you can adjust it later. When you're tightening the wheel, you need to go at the wheel nuts in a crisscross manner so that they are not getting tightened at an angle or something. So tighten this, and this, and this, and this, like that, and go slowly, little by little, so that the wheel goes in properly and gets mated with this mating surface properly. Happy with how tight it got, you can put the car down on the ground later once you jump everything, and then use a power bar to tighten all this just a little bit. Once you've finished putting your brake pads together, this is your brake reservoir, brake fluid reservoir. On most cars it would be on your where your steering wheel is, but there's some cases that it would be on the opposite side. There's a limit as max and minimum here, and if you remember, you lost a lot of fluid when you're putting the pads together, so you need to top it up before doing anything else. So you can use .4, whatever that's specified with your car. If it's specified .3 or .4, you can just go ahead and use .4, because .3 and 4 and 5.1 can be mixed together. So top it up. You don't need to close the reservoir just now, and once it's filled up, go into your car, press on your brake. The initial pumps will be very soft, and give it a few pumps until you feel it's properly hard. You should be able to feel that getting harder and harder as you press, and if you can see, it doesn't allow me to go all the way to the bottom now. That means your system is properly bled. There's no air in your system, and if it stays soft after you doing this as well, that means you probably left a bleeding nipple open without tightening it, and you'll need to bleed out your system. Once it's hard done, come back to here, and you can see the level has gone down. Top up that amount as well, and then your job is done. Close out the reservoir, and that's it, folks. That's how you do replace your brake pads on your daily. This is a Honda Stream RSZ, but will be common throughout the rest of the cars as well. Well, at least 90% of your cars and vans. Like my video if this was useful, and subscribe to my channel, guys. See you in the next videos. Thank you.